Yeah, good morning, Anna. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Art Venture Encore. Give us a nice smiley pose with your beautiful Midnight Stories book. And we're super excited. So let's get this party started. Thank you. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Elena. And let's start. And thank you so much for joining. And for the students who are here for the second time, thank you for coming again. And we are going to work on the project that is, of course, darker in colors. So this is something a little bit different to what we did yesterday, but we're going to use similar set of products. Of course, black gesso is the new thing. So you have that in the kit as well. And you can use any surface you like. The suggestion was to use a book. And this is an old book from the vintage shop from Free Market, 1901, something in Irish language, which I cannot read, but it may be, of course, done on any other surface. So you can work on the canvas. And today I'm going to work on the chipboard journal cover. This is the journal I made for Prima, and it's going to work pretty well. As you can see, this is the little swap here. No problem at all. What you need to prepare are their brushes, of course, same kind of yesterday, bigger one, flat ones, and something smaller as well. Water sprayer, palette knife, some kind of scissors, and some water, of course, that will be helpful, baby wipes or towels. And before we're going to start, of course, I need to remove the cover. It will be much easier for me this way because of the metal wire. And I am thinking about just doing exactly the same thing as I did on this cover, but slightly changing the colors, because this is what we did yesterday. And if you'd like to see the photos of the clock from yesterday, it's already posted in the group. You can look at the close-up photos to examine all the details. So I will swap the camera to the table, and you're going to see everything done step by step. If there are any questions, I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat. I can see questions from Debbie coming, so I will be with you. Let's do. Okay, I'm just putting you in the right position now. That should be it. This is the book. Okay, so I told you we are going to use a little bit of the scraps of papers or some kind of tape in the first steps. You can see it here as a background layer. So it may be basically anything. It may be fabric tape, washi tape, and scrapbooking paper leftovers. So this is what I have here. And I also have my book that I want to use. There's only one page done inside. Oops, sorry. This is the one I was doing with my patrons, but the cover looks sad and lonely. So I think it really deserves some makeover. So instead of working in a book, I'm going to work on the chipboard cover. And the treatment is going to be very much the same. And if you have a book, there are some important tips that may help you. If your book has a glossy finish, it may be easier if you will sand it down a little bit before adding any gesso or anything. Some kinds of the varnish on the books is so slippery, it is really hard to repaint it. But if you take your sanding paper and you will sand it down a little bit, it's going to turn matte and your work will be so much easier. Next thing, if you work in the vintage book like this one, sometimes they are waxed with some probably it's kind of like paint or wax finish, usually on the top of the fabric cover like this one. Also here, that may cause some trouble. So before you put any techniques on the top, any crackles, any textures, it's important to put gesso. So if you have your book like me now, we are going to do the first step with the gesso, just to make sure our surface is going to be ready for all the things we want to do on the top. If you have the super glossy finish, you can sand it down, okay? You can use any gesso because we're going to repaint it black. It will be easier if I start with the black gesso, of course. For that purpose, I need a bigger brush. I need some kind of palette, and then attaching the papers. This is going to be the next step. So you're not missing anything. We are starting with the gesso, and then we're going to use the papers using modeling paste or any other adhesive you like. Okay, so question from Debbie. Is there a way to lighten up the black background from last time? The black background of the book, you can always rub more of the waxes on the top of it, or you can put more white gesso to highlight it. This is, I hope, answering to Debbie. If your cover was too dark, you could add more of the white gesso and then paint again and wax again, or just use a lot of white pearl wax to lighten it up to make it more white and pearly. That would be my second guess. Now, black gesso would work. We'll see how far we can go with that. It's really, really black, so you don't need to put 2 layers. After 1 layer, it is going to be really okay. Also, we mostly do it to prepare the surface, which means we want it to be matte, and we want it to be nice and ready, not absorbing. Gesso is a primer, which means it is stopping your products from soaking into the surface, so your paint is not going to soak into your paper. And also it's turning the slippery surfaces, such as metal or glass, into matte surfaces. So they're much easier to work on. So there are really 2 big advantages in gesso. First of all, turning matte. Second, working as isolation. So as you can see, I'm just trying to put 1 good cover on the top of my book. If you feel your gesso is a little bit too thick, you can add a little bit of water on your brush and it's going to go smoother. It's not going to affect the gesso transparency. I will try to be careful with the rubber elastic. And also you will see gesso dries quickly and it's turning matte now. You can see here. And that means once it is matte, it is ready to go. It is dry. I will use the heat gun to dry it to make it work faster. We are going to use this gesso again. So I will keep it on the side, but for now, this is enough. And please remember, I will try to be 1 step ahead, so you will see what is the result you should be getting. Don't worry that I go a little bit faster than you, because my purpose, is to show you the finished step as well. So you will know how to do the things, what is the look you're going for. And this way, you're going to have your job a little bit easier. Okay, you can see this is turning matte very quickly. Gesso is usually fast drying art medium, so no problems at all. That should be it. I'll try to keep it clean. I'm just checking if the covers are in the right position, because it may happen you will do it upside down. So check before starting decorating, where is the front and where is the back, and maybe it is upside down. So check that 2 times before you're going to make the composition. It does happen. I did it in the classroom a couple of times. I was too focused on teaching and I realized that my book was upside down once I was halfway done, for example. So just saying. And now I will just put all these somewhere on hand. And we've got modeling paste. This is the leftover from yesterday. We are going to use it as a paste and adhesive today. And if you prefer, you can use something else. For example, soft gel or Mod Podge or something which is adhesive for the paper you prefer. It's really up to you. We still have quite a lot in the tube. So I will take that. This is the palette from yesterday. I will squeeze it out to get ready for the next step. So we have our book surface prepared, and now we are going to work on decorating the front and the back. The front is usually more decorated because this is the part of the book that is attracting more of the attention. And the back, I usually just make very simple composition, something easy and flat. So when I want to work in my book, it is quite easy to keep it in a flat position. If I will make 2-dimensional compositions on the back and on the front, the book gets really wobbly and it is harder to use it as a journal, for example, or any kind of photo album or whatever else you prefer. So I usually only make dimensional composition at the front. If you would like to look closer, you can see the first step is going to be sticking the papers and maybe some tapes to create a little bit of the texture that is going to be the base of our main composition. And I will do it on the both covers, on the front and on the back. And it's really easy to do. You don't have to think too much on it. It's just sticking the papers more in almost like a cross way. So they are close to each other and they are usually vertical and horizontal only. I really avoid diagonal because that is breaking the composition quite a lot. It's not always visually pleasing, and with the busy and quite big composition we are planning to do, it may just attract too much attention. So I'm cutting my paper strips into smaller ones so I can use them in different ways. As you can see, I'm just using some paper leftovers from previous projects. You can use them for this purpose easily. And you know, we all have these at home, so they are just perfect for this step. Is everything okay so far? Any questions coming, maybe?
No, there's no questions so far. You're doing great, Anna.
Oh, you are so kind. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, so look, I'm just kind of randomly cutting them. This is not even paper. This is like a fabric, one of the resist canvases. I will have it on my table, so why not using it? Okay, so now we can start organizing some lines. So I will start maybe with some vertical lines going up and down. This is going to pull my composition a little bit to the top and to the bottom of the cover. I just try to pick some things. I use modeling paste, but you can use gel medium of any kind you like. You can use some kind of the adhesive you prefer. It doesn't matter. Also, the color doesn't matter because it will be all painted black on some point anyway. So, you know, we don't have to worry. It's just about creating the nice looking textures. I will try to combine different kind of structure. You don't have to be very clean with gluing, but you don't need to seal it on the top either. The gesso will seal it. Let's do a little bit on the other one as well. Here I'm going to make it smaller because the composition will be smaller, but similar idea. Some of the lines which are almost organized like a cross. And then what else have I got? This one. Maybe something square. Oh, I have this one. Why not? Okay, let's look for some more fun parts. I need more of the paste. So horizontal and vertical lines, quite concentrated in the middle. So I'm trying to imagine that I will only see really the tops and the sides of it. The middle is going to be covered with embellishments anyway. So I don't have to make the middle part pretty. I'm trying to focus on creating interesting edges instead. And this is the moment where you can incorporate any kind of tape if you like it, if you have it. For example, some masking tapes, because they are perfect textures. I just put them the same way as I put the paper in the horizontal or vertical position. So this kind of technique is an alternative to using stencil to create the first textures, and it's great for using up the leftovers you may have. So instead of creating textures with stencil, you can use your leftover papers or fabric pieces and add something to your background before creating the main composition and the focal point. So, you know, another option of putting your stash into good use, because it's heartbreaking to throw them away. So why not sticking them to your project? For example, something like this. If you want to add something more, you can, but it is not really going to be that visible. Really, I predict this part. I will see that part, maybe a little bit of this, but that part is going to get covered. So you can see perfection here is not needed at all. And I still have so many leftovers. I was trying hard to use them, but still they're here. And then another idea for the thing you can use for the nice textures, fabric tape, something that I buy in the pharmacy. Another lovely texture. I'm absolutely addicted to this kind of tape because it's quite cheap and it has beautiful cotton finish. So perfect for projects, and it's possible to just stick it on. It's white, so it will take the color nicely. That's it. I put it back in the place. You don't have to seal it, but if there's like annoying part that keeps sticking out or up, you can glue it. Now we're going to work on some fun stuff. So before you start, if you want to, you can dry it a little bit with the heat gun.
So did everybody choose to work on a book this time?
I think there will be some other options as well, not just the books.
I hope so. It's always fun to see.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so maybe 2 more minutes and we go to the next step.
Lenine is doing a canvas.
Oh.
Carrie Ann is working on a box. And Tracy says she has a book this time.
See?
How fun.
Exactly. That feels dry, so I think I'm ready. And for the next step, I'm going to use the chipboards you've got in your kit. So once you're ready, you can take them out. If you're using the kit, of course. If you don't use the kit, try to look for some chipboard embellishments that you would like to use. And if it's possible, I wouldn't really pick the most intricate ones because they may not create the right effect. It's better to have a little bit bolder ones. So you can see this is like a flower garland. And there are some extra smaller bits and pieces. Very, very cute design. However, I'm going to cut it in pieces anyway. So, well, it does look cute though. I'm just removing these little foam squares from the back. Okay. And now the challenge of the big ones. Yeah, you can hear my dogs in the background. They're absolutely happy walking around. They get a little bit agitated because dinner time is coming. So, you know, these deep looks in your eyes and being around, trying to make sure you will pay the attention to them.
Right? It's always that soulful eye look.
Yeah, of course. They want to be seen and they want to you know, just underline how important it is to feed them on time. Because
So
it's like crucial thing.
I'm sorry.
Here it's 5:30.
Okay.
So it's still early. They still need to wait like 1.5 hours.
They're prepared.
So of course, like usually 3 hours in advance, they're prepared.
Right.
I'm squeezing the modeling paste out on the palette. Hi. And what I'm trying to do now, if you have a closer look, what we are going to do, there are impressions in the paste. So instead of using sorry. Instead of using your chipboards just to glue them down, we are first going to use them to press them into the modeling paste. So it's going to add some really lovely textures. So my book already had some decorations, which is making that a little bit more challenging. But I use my flowers to add extra textures to it. And to get good result, it's kind of important that you will spread your paste a little bit like icing on the cake. So there will be enough of this texture to press something in. So don't be too stingy, okay? You have to do a little bit of the planning. First of all, don't do it in the middle because here we will put the embellishments. So it's better to focus in the corners of the front cover, and then on the back cover you can go a little bit more crazy. So I will put like a spread of the icing on my cover. I'm using silicone brush, but you can use your palette knife, and I will try to find the places where I guess the effect will be visible. So mostly the corners. And now I will try to play and press it in to create cool texture results, right? I'm just pressing with my fingers and then lifting, right? So it's almost like stamping in the paste. Of course, if you have very delicate chipboard, it may be harder to do. So try to pick the one that will have more of the body. So it's going to be easier to get the results in your paste. So that's why I told you, don't pick up the most delicate design. I will try to use that one maybe here. It's really fun, and it's another way of creating texture, something a little bit different to using stencils, which I think is great, but how many times you would like to use stencils in your project, right? It's just my personal feeling, it's getting boring, so it's good to look into some other options as well. So now I'm just playing with pressing these flowers into the paste. Ta-da! It's almost like embossing. And then once we will have the composition on, it will reveal these interesting textures. Okay, so now I will do the same thing on the back cover as well. Yeah, that looks cool. Pretty. The thing is, try not to put your fingers into it, so you don't want to ruin that by accident. And now the same thing. I take modeling paste or any other medium that is thick you are using now. So 3D gloss gel or 3D matte gel would do the job as well. And then we spread the paste or the gel and we play with the textures. Some people also create similar effects using rubber stamps, which is very good choice. The only thing is pick the rubber stamp that has quite strong visible image. So it's not going to be too delicate because it may not be visible in the paste. So something quite bold would work better. Oh, yeah, it's getting stuck. Maybe like this. And of course, after using the stamp, you will need to clean it before the paste will get dry because it is very sticky gel medium or paste. So you don't want that to stick on your stamp permanently because it will be hard to clean it. So good technique, but you have to clean your tools quite quickly, right? With the keyboard, of course, you have to be careful when you lift it. So it's going to be able to make the impression, but not stick permanently to the background. There were some questions last time why it is not working so well for some people, and usually the reason was they were not having enough paste, so the impressions were not too great. It's really working better when you have thicker coat of the paste, so then the result is going to look nicer. And once you're happy with your stamping with the keyboards, we can now stick our composition, like our keyboard as a part of the composition. So the big one will go on the front cover, and it's going to be the beginning of my main composition and elements. And I will just stick it with the leftovers of the paste. I will try to go maybe like from here and then going a little bit that way, trying not to hide this quite pretty rose I got in that corner. And then I can add some extras on the side. For example, this one here, pretending it's part of the design. Ah, come on, don't stick. And this one on the other side. Here. And I can use the small one at the very back as an extra. Once we use it for stamping, then we stick it. It's keyboard well used, used to the maximum. And now, before we are going to make the composition with embellishments, I would suggest to dry it with the heat gun until you will feel that your paste is at least half dry. So you're not going to smudge it by accident, and then you will lose your cool textures you just created. So it's like 3 to 5 minutes of drying. And this way you will preserve the design, and then we can work on the elements without any damage to what we have so far. And this way it's going to be less stressful for me as well, because I'm really good at damaging my own designs because I put hand in it and and then I have to start all over. So I think it's just easier this way. Yes. I didn't see question from Debbie. I think Debbie should just switch to all panelists and attendees. And if you ask question, make sure that you are writing to everybody, okay? So I can see it as well. This is modeling paste we are using now. This is white, flexible, sticky medium that we used yesterday for gluing. And today we're using that for making impressions and for gluing as well.
Yeah, Debbie, if you try not to use the Q&A button at the bottom, just go ahead and type your questions in the chat. That would be a lot easier. Thank you.
Because I don't see the Q&A here. I can see the chat. You will see the paste turns matte while drying. So it's also going to tell you that it's closer to the point when it's safe to touch. The feeling is almost like bubble gum after drying. So it's like flexible and very, very sturdy. So this kind of product is great for the surfaces that you bend. So for example, if you work on the fabric cover and you would like to make some textures, you can use gel medium or modeling paste. And then even if you're going to bend your cover or your bag, it's still going to work together with the surface. There will be no cracks ever. It's just going to be like rubber, you know, just bending and creating a really good effect. Yeah, this is the product we are using now, modeling paste. Oh, I can see this one is not stuck. So for safety, I'm going to stick that little leaf in the right position because I don't want it to come off. And this is just chipboard, so it's not going to be too sturdy. Just remove the excess with the brush. So maybe 1 or 2 more minutes for drying. I try to blow from the distance so the whole surface dries evenly. There's a thicker coat of the paste here, so I have to dry a little bit longer.
Now, Anna, have you found that you have a favorite surface to work on? I know that's a hard question.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, it does change with the time because I always go through the different phases. So in the last year, I absolutely love working on the wood, possibly old planks that I find somewhere in the village, or parts of my flooring that we have leftovers here in the shed, or some wood planks that I find on the beach. And I absolutely love working on the wood to show the natural texture and color of it as well. And in the past, I absolutely love working on the books, and I still like it. And if I can't find anything else, I will gladly work on the canvas or the MDF panel, something that is going to be sturdy. I think my least favorite is just paper because it is not giving enough support. So I have to, if I plan something heavier, I have to go with some, you know, extra options. So I usually look for the things which are thick, so I can glue my stuff on and there will be no problem with bending or being wobbly.
That makes complete sense.
It's just easier when it's not moving, right? So
that's understandable.
Okay, I will check now with my fingers. First of all, I will let it cool down a little bit because this paste is really hot at this point. So it may be, the feel may be still wet because it's just so warm, but in fact it is quite okay. Yeah, this part is okay. We can leave it on the side and it's going to wait. Here, yeah. See, I'm touching it. Well, hard to say. This is clean finger, right? I'm touching that and nothing stays on my finger. So that should be safe enough to work with other elements because I'm not going to ruin that just by touching by accident. So this is the stage I wanted to go to. So safe enough. Now I will look for the embellishments I've got left from yesterday, and I will show you what kind of set of elements I will use. So if you're not using the kit, you can find some similar things. So I've got bigger cogs and smaller cogs. like this. I've got some really small ones as well. I've got one big flower, and I've got some pebbles. Pebbles are adding extra touches, and the biggest pebble is going to be our focal point, which is going to sit on the top of the cog. So you can see here, this is the element. It's going to be in combination with some patterned paper, so it's going to attract a lot of nice attention. The pebbles are just for extra touches. Of course, you can add more flowers if you prefer. You can add more cogs or other elements. It's really up to you. Just to show you the other options, like these would work really well, or these ones. All these things, they are kind of possible to use, and more of the different cogs if you would like to include that in your project. Just showing you different styles I've got on my table. This is probably two-dimensional, something more flat. Yeah, but these ones, they're going to be all good choices. And if not the cogs, you can always use other style of embellishments. For example, trinkets of different kinds. Like we have these, they're going to be really cool. Yep, just to give you some ideas what kind of elements we may put into this composition. It doesn't have to be too much because we want to see the chipboard and we want to see the impressions we made. So don't go too far with your choices because, you know, it may be just too much. Yeah, I have like selection of these. Different sizes. Also, another option, instead of using metal embellishments, you can use the elements made in the molds. A lot of people like them because they are a little bit thicker. And of course, you can make a lot of different elements many times. So just to give you some ideas, what would be the sizes that you can look into. Like this is kind of similar. Yep. This is one of the larger ones. Okay, so I put this one on the side because this one is going to be used for the final embellishment. So I put it in a safe place. So I won't stick it now by accident because people get excited and sometimes you will just forget there was a purpose for that pebble. I will see if I need any more of the larger or smaller pebbles. I have some extras here. And now we are going to think about the composition. We still use the same modeling paste as our adhesive. So there's no surprise here. We didn't change anything. Now we will use it for gluing. So I put the palette knife into water so it's not going to get dry. I squeeze out a little bit more. And now we can talk about the composition. Let me know if you are ready and we can put the composition together. And remember to drink from time to time so you are staying hydrated.
What's your favorite tea?
What's my favorite tea?
Yeah.
We basically have two leading brands here in Ireland. and they are both very strong because they're supposed to be drunk with milk. So the one I'm drinking, it's called Lions, and the second one, which is a very popular Irish brand, is called Barry's, and both of them are very good quality, rich flavored tea. And this is the tea I keep drinking every day, couple of times per day. And as you can see, I don't put any milk. So
Right.
on the
My
other
kind
hand,
of
I
girl.
don't drink coffee. So if I don't drink coffee, I will just replace the coffee with tea.
Yeah, but Irish tea is as strong as coffee, if not stronger sometimes.
Well, it all depends on your coffee. If you are talking about Italian coffee,
Oh, yeah.
it's very strong. I remember one of my first classes when I was teaching in Rome, and in the end of I think it was the end of the first day, it was really getting late. One of the ladies came and she brought this hot water bottle, it was hot coffee bottle filled with Italian coffee, and I was given a little cup, because you can't even say that was a mug, it was like a tiny cup, and I got literally 3 sips of it, and it kicked me right in the forehead and my eyes were wide open. So it was really strong, and this is the way I can only take coffee. It has to be very small amount and very strong, so something like espresso is going to work, because I don't enjoy the taste of coffee. And if it's small amount, I like it. If it's going to be a lot of it, after 2-3 sips, I just lose the interest completely. And that's why if I have to do some coffee in emergency situation, it's going to be espresso or double espresso, and that's it. And so I do it almost like medicine. It's like medicine, honestly. This is not for pleasure.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay,
I know.
go ahead and continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm hopeless case here. Guys, now we're going to make the composition. So if you look at your options, right, we need to place the biggest elements first, so they will have enough space to be visible. And our biggest elements from yesterday kit, there were these 3 thingies, right? So now I will try to arrange them next to each other in a way that is going to be quite nice. So I'm trying to keep some parts of the chipboard visible. So it's almost like making quick cluster and sticking them very close to each other. And my suggestion is, once you will find the right position, just glue it down and keep it, okay? So this is what happened here. You can see 1, 2, 3, a little bit differently than I have it now, but it doesn't matter. It's just working as well, perfectly. So I'm going to stick them like this. And then we're going to expand to the sides and to the top and to the bottom. So our composition will get a little bit more interesting. And if you look at the way I'm gluing it, it's mostly just sticking with the big blobs of the paste. Especially I'm sticking on the edge of the cover and the chipboard. So the surface is very uneven. So it's better to do a little bit more of the paste and to make sure it's going to stay, instead of trying to be very, very delicate, and then you can't really place it anywhere. So now I will see what I can do. I can pull it down and I can pull it up, trying to work with some elements. Just to show you what the ideas are. You can slide elements close to it, and then you can use the line of the flowers to go with your embellishments. So for example, I can put that in because that fits really well here. And then I can find another one that is going to sit here, and then something smaller. It's going to be almost like a berry on my flower stem. And then I can try to go on the side here to add extra. And then I can put another one next to it. And then, for example, finish that with the nice pebble, so there is no empty gap. And then I can try to put 1 or 2 on the bottom here. You know what I mean? Something that is going to make it a little bit more dimensional. And after that, I'm going to use my pebbles to fill the empty spaces. So that's quite nice looking composition. So I will start using the paste and sticking that, pulling the composition up and down and a little bit to the sides as well. So this is going to look nice, and still the keyboard will be visible. Let's put this one in here under the flower. For example, like this. Too much here. Too much. That is nice. Ooh, I'm sticking to my fingers instead. But this was not the part of the plan. That may work as well. And a big blob. Ah! I wanted to put it inside, but not upside down. I'm trying to put a little pebble inside of the flower to make it look like a middle of the flower. And you can use them as well as screw heads. So for example, inside of the knob or inside of the cog. Just to show you a closer look, I'm done with the metal elements. Now we'll just try to add extra pebbles that are going to be like little happy bubbles floating around. Or you can imagine they're a fruit. That's also another option. They like to be in groups. So if you like, you can create like a little happy family of pebbles next to each other. Just removing the excess of the paste around that one. I think I have too many of the same size. I need to find the one which is smaller. I try to find smaller ones. Oh, there's one smaller. I'm digging through my other pebbles because currently I'm missing them, like the middle size. Probably used them all yesterday. Yeah, that should be it. So using the modeling paste, what I was doing now, it was just putting this composition together, trying to start with the big ones and then adding smaller ones around it to fill the gaps, but yet trying to keep it clustered. So you will have this feeling that this is one big embellishment sitting on the top of the cover instead of the group of the scattered elements. I'll give you a closer look. I will just remove the paste. So you can see the smallest elements are basically just filling the empty gaps or adding a little bit of the finishing touches on the outside of the composition. It's easier to see when it is painted because before painting, it does look very random. But after painting, you will see the nice flow of the composition. I will leave it here for a moment. Now I can dry it with my heat gun. And this is the moment when you can just do it in a little bit lazy way as well. So you can let your heat gun do it for you. Or if you have nothing to do, you can just go and try drying it from different angles to make sure the paste will get completely dry. This way, nothing will come off while we will start painting.
How is everyone doing? Are you hanging in there? Do you have any
They're
questions?
very quiet. They're very quiet. That means they are probably very busy.
That's what I think too. That'd be awesome.
Drying. Very good.
That's a good point to be at.
This is also a good moment if you would like to have a break for something to drink or to go to the bathroom or to get a gasp, of the fresh air, whatever you feel. This is the right moment because you can leave it a little bit if you have a chance, for example, go and let it dry from the distance and then have a little break as well.
Okay, how about a little 10-minute break, Anna? Does that work?
Yeah, exactly. That's
okay. Well, I can stop the recording and we'll come back in 10 minutes so everybody has a chance to dry and pee and everything. How does that sound?
Perfect. That sounds like a great plan.
Okay, we're pausing now. And we're back with Anna.
So I checked with my fingers to see if the elements are okay. It's still a little bit hot, but it should be fine. In the next step, we'll come back to our black gesso and then we will paint everything to come back to neutral black surface. This way, it's going to be much easier to plan the colors and to organize the color palette the way we want. So there will be no pressure that we have to, paint it this or other way. And also that will create beautiful dramatic shadow. So I'm going to squeeze out my black gesso, the same one we used in the very first step. I'm going to take my brush and then I will paint the cover in the back and then the front as well. If you feel your gesso is a little bit too thick, again, you can dip the brush in the water. And if you go inside of the embellishments, you can dab instead of just traditional painting. It's going to be easier to get to the deeper parts of the composition. And then we're going to paint that with one coat. So you don't have to do 2 times. Black gesso has a very, very dark, strong pigment. So it will be really enough. And if you will see any white spot by accident, don't worry, we're going to make it lighter in the next steps as well. So very likely nobody will ever see this white spot. So very relaxing part of the project, to be honest. Everything is turning into this monochromatic, nice looking composition. There will be no odd colors, no white on the black, a little bit dirty look. Everything turns into one tone. And for me, this is a great start to add my own colors on the top of it. You can see how quickly it goes. Like, you don't have to spend too much time on painting. Of course, if you have larger brush, because if you try to paint everything with this size, you're going to do it until tomorrow. And this is kind of disappointing and annoying. So I always recommend bigger brushes for this step. So no, small brushes are for paint application, for painting. For gesso, you need something bigger. It's good to look from different angles. So if you paint it in one way, you can put it upside down and see if there may be some annoying little spots that you missed. Also, if you can't reach by any means with the big brush, then you can take a small one and try to go in. But most of the times, it's just okay with one brush. Yeah, there's like one flower, which is a little bit annoying. Here. I will let it dry and check, and then in the meantime, I will paint the back. This one is much easier. It's very flat. let's dry and see. And after that, it will be easier to find any spots that you could miss. Trying to get into the places that maybe they were not painted. Now, it's much easier to see on the matte surface, so once you will start drying, you will find them right away. You can also pick up the excess of the gesso.
Hi, Anna, it's Elena.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Devin just got picked up. He's at the playground.
Oh, I'm sure he's delighted.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you the very first time that you put a bunch of stuff on something and covered the whole thing in black, what were you thinking?
I can tell you what I was thinking. I was doing that on purpose because I've seen that done before, but not in this kind of project. When I was in, let's say, maybe at my third year of the university, which was years ago, I had some friends who were making, like they were interested in board games or the games where you can use the big figurines, like you want for the battle games, when you have the huge armies against each other. So part of that hobby is to paint the figurines by yourself. And also some of my friends, they were doing plane modeling and so on. So they were, painting these, with the tiny brushes. And I've seen that very popular technique is to start with the dark background and then to paint with the lighter colors on the top, of course, acrylic, so covering paints. So this way you get natural shadow and dimension. And I remember that. And then when I wanted to create dimensional composition, I was trying to recreate the same look. So when I started and I had that all black, I was thinking, okay, now we will do the highlights on the top, but not too deep, right? We want to see both the shadow and the light. And then after a few tryings, I just got to the confidence with the technique, and that really works well. So I can't say that I just invented that myself because I've seen it before, but my purpose was to create the light and the shadow effect. And this is one of the easiest ways, to be honest.
I love that you're saying that you didn't invent it, because I mean, unless you were alive in the, BC, Greek, Roman, unless you're like Michelangelo, I don't think too many things are left to invent at this point. But
no, not too many, honestly.
But your style and your technique is unique to you, and that's what we love so much. But the first time I saw you cover something completely, I did kind of gasp. And
well, honestly, I am not afraid of black color. This is one of my first, favorite colors to use because it creates such huge drama, and then you can make so many things with that. And also, black always works perfectly with iridescent and with the metallic, so you can't go wrong. But I can see why people get shocked sometimes with this concept, because this is like against most of the things they would be doing before. Like they were, if they were doing card making or scrapbooking, they were usually trying to match the background with embellishments. to make this perfect, beautiful looking composition, while here we just paint everything ourselves. And this may be a little bit scary. And if they were doing more classical painting, they were never really starting with the black. You can, but this is not so popular. They mostly go with lighter tones and then paint with layers. This is good for dimension, for projects which are 3D. So then you intentionally work on the lights and the shadows to create that dimensional effect. So when you look at the image or the collage or object, even from the distance, right away you see this is 3D object. It's not like flat, completely flat item. So, you know, you have to find your ways to get the results you like.
Well, but that's exactly what it is. Most people that came to, Prima, they come for the matching embellishments and the coordinating paper. And then you tell them to take your scraps and put them on here. And now I'm going to paint them all black.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
It is fun, but this way you learn you can use almost any kind of rubbish that you have, and you may be able to create really unusual, beautiful compositions. So it is not expensive way of making really interesting projects, because of course you can just use the embellishments like we have the kit, right? It's easier to make with packs of embellishments. But when you create at home, you can pick up any kind of thingies that you are having in your garage or in your kitchen or somewhere, left on your table, and use them, even if they don't match, because you can make them work perfectly by painting, right? So this is in fact a creative way to recycle the things that people usually toss away anyway. So
quote of the day is, Anna says you can use your rubbish on your book.
Yeah, use your rubbish.
Oh, okay. Well, and Regina just stopped in to say hi.
Hello,
Regina. And Carrie Ann said the game was Warhammer.
Yes, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, in fact. It was the very beginning of that in Poland. It was so exciting. It was so hard to buy these things. So I was never really a player. I was just admiring the whole concept, because it was time consuming. It was pretty cool. Then there was Warhammer 40,000, which is the new version. I still admire that style. Honestly, they have really cool designers there. They made really beautiful designs of these characters or the armies, everything. So, this is what I did when I was a teenager and younger adult.
Well, anything that's like a period piece, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
The costuming and stuff. But anyway, all right. What
exactly. Now I'm looking for the flat brush, which is maybe not too big, because we are going to highlight that. And of course, to make the highlights, it's easier to do that with the flat brush, because we are not going to go deep. We want to go mostly on the tops. And this is like the first step of this shadow and light effect. We are using the same paints as we used yesterday. So if you were here, you remember they are transparent, but strongly pigmented. And by transparent, I mean they really don't show that much on the darker surfaces. So the colors we were putting in the kit originally, these were 3 colors, Prussian blue, burnt sienna, and carmine. And then if you got the kit later, instead of burnt sienna, you got slightly lighter ochre color. Ochre is like golden brown, while the burnt sienna is more like teak brown, something like sepia maybe. So if you paint them directly here, the color will be almost invisible. So what we need to do first, we need to highlight that with, for example, white gesso or light acrylic paint. So we will reveal the textures that we created, and then we will color them with the acrylics we have today. If you have acrylics which are more traditional at home, the ones which are opaque and covering, you don't really need to put white color because they are going to cover anyway. But then the result is also going to look a little bit different. So just to keep it in mind, our liquid acrylics are transparent paints and very rich. So if you would like to use them on the darker surfaces, remember you have to give them the white surface to sit on. Now, let me find my white gesso. This is the one. I just take this brush. I take a bit of that gesso and I'm going to highlight my covers. And that means I will do dry brushing, which is taking a bit of the paint or the gesso on your brush and just brush in a delicate way, almost like powdering your nose. So the easiest way to do it is to take the paint or the gesso on your brush and then put it deep, deep, deep in the bristle and then remove the excess. So when you brush, it's going to be almost like powder. Okay, so you can even see on the palm of my hand, it's not going too deep. So now I'm using that and brushing the tops of my embellishments. So they're going to get whiter and revealed. And you can also pull that color a little bit on the outsides as well. So you can reveal the beautiful textures we created with the chipboards pressed into our modeling paste. And with a tiny bit of paint, you go really, really far. So what you can do is to start inside on the top of embellishments and then pull the leftovers to the outside. And the trick is every time when you refill the paint, you have to take it off. So don't go straight from the palette on the product. You have to always take it off on the paper towel or piece of cloth, something that is going to remove it. Because you don't want big white blob, you want like a powder effect. You can do it in the round motion or you can do it just by strokes, getting from inside to the outside. But the trick is to be light-handed. And the whole technique of the dry brushing is really to have almost nothing on your brush. But you can see how we reveal the texture. Remember about cleaning the brush. Don't forget. Now you can see the whole purpose of creating the paper strips and effects with the pressing the chipboards, because now it is all going to be visible. Like this. Of course, I will repeat the same thing on the back. Even now it doesn't look too bad. It's just black and white. So we have like this gray color. You can come back to the first one. It's probably dry now, so you can do a little bit more to make the white more saturated if you like. Dry brushing is a wonderful technique to create light and shadow. Oh, Oriana is complaining she's got very humid weather now. I'm really sorry. Take your time, don't worry. It's better to dry completely instead of go faster. You know that by now. I had some classes in some parts of Australia when there was very humid as well. So we had to dry for a long, long time. So every time when I start inside and I go to the outside, just pulling that color out a little bit. Any questions on the dry brushing technique, maybe? Sometimes when people struggle with that, the problem is in the brush because they take a really dodgy brush, something that is not going to work. Really, the easiest ones to use would be something flat and, you know, nicely cut as well. So it's going to be like, you know, flat and no, quite soft bristle. And this way it is going to be easy to create this, you know, motion and just touch the tops. And sometimes when you are not successful with some of the painting techniques, it's not you. Sometimes it is the brush that is on your way. So please remember that and don't get too stressed because some people feel very frustrated. And once they change the brush, they realize that, oh, it was much easier than I expected. Oh, sorry. Done. Now I have to think about the colors. In the way, we're going to work with the colors similar way as yesterday. So we will go add the paints first, and then we are going to add the white wax as a highlight. But on the same time, yesterday I used my blue already, and I wanted you to have some other options. So I'm going to focus on the brown and rusty only. So it's going to look very, very vintage. I'm really tempted to show you a little bit the combination with some other color as well, but we will see. Originally, the first edition we did, it was Prussian blue, carmine, and a little bit of the burnt sienna. So these three colors for the cover. Okay, I put the brush in the water. And now we will need the water sprayer, so the same thing as yesterday, and a smaller brush so we can apply the colors easily. And it will be good to have some clean water because everything I have here is with black gesso. So give me 1 second. Okay.
So just to clarify for everyone, Anna is showing you an alternate color scheme, but you have the Prussian blue, the carmine, and depending on if you are original Art Venture or if you're Encore, you either have burnt sienna or
Okra.
Okra. Thank you. Thanks, Jamie. So, but she's going to show you a way to make it look, you know, vintagey with the browns. And then I guess Anna might throw in a different color, but these fluid acrylics are so amazing. Danny has her site. Danny and Perrin have their site. Frank Garcia has a coupon code on the sheet for you guys. There's plenty of places to get them. But Anna, I'm really excited to see this vintagey look.
Yeah, we have to do something different, right?
Yeah.
Because yesterday we did with the blue, so today we have to do more vintagey, so we will have more options.
Yeah. Could you please tell them too, while you're doing this, Anna, would you mind holding up your original and kind of telling them where you would put the blue if they would like it?
I will.
Awesome.
That's the plan.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm going to focus on the browns and rusty red, which is the color that you can see here, right? This is like just like a little bit of that color, honestly. And the other shade that is possible to use is ochre. I'm going to combine 2 browns and 1 red. They're not so far from each other, so it's not going to be dramatic change, but always something. On my palette, I have to find this place where there's kind of cleaner part or something similar. So I put 1 brown. This is burnt sienna. I will put the ochre next to it, so I will have maybe, some variation of color. I didn't mix it. It's okay. Perfect. And then carmine, which is a rusty red. So at the original version, I started with the blue. Blue was like the background color, and I put it mostly on the back of the composition, so on the empty spots, and a little bit on the embellishments. And then when it was dry, I started adding another colors. So instead of blue, I'm going to start with browns. Okay, so I'm going to go and create a bit of the brown and brown shadows. I'm starting with burnt sienna. If you are not sure how to do it, you can do like in the 3 puddles of color. And if you're a little bit worried this is too complicated, just don't think too much, apply and let the water go and create this a little bit like flowy effect for you. So you can use acrylics this way, almost like watercolor paints, but they are going to get permanent. Now for extra variation, we can add a little bit of the ochre, which is different tone, maybe on the edge of the brown to make them look a little bit different, just for extra touch. You can see this one is more gold, while the burnt sienna is a little bit more like tea stain color. And again, the same story. Use your sprayer, let them float a little bit. And remember, this is not final painting. This is just playing with the first layer. So you can go and add some nice touches. And at this point, when I would have the blue, I would have to dry it because the browns and reds are completely other side of the color wheel and they would go very muddy. Here would be no that much harm if I added red right away because they're similar colors. But to keep it the way it should be, I'm going to take now the heat gun and to dry it and to make sure the colors will get permanent. So it will be much easier to apply the one that is like the contrasting one. Okay, so we have shades of brown. Now let's see what happens after drying. Remember, once it is dry, it is permanent. So you can always add more color on the top and it's not going to be coming off. It's just like, it's there and you can only add extra to it. You can't remove it. So it's a great advantage. A bit of patience to dry all the puddles of color. We'll get one of them. Kitchen rolls. to pick up the excess. Let's say this is enough. Now I'm going to clean the brush and I will add the rusty tones. And kind of logical is to add the rusty close to the mechanical elements. So this is the place you can start. Let's say I'm going to do the rust on this one, right? It makes sense, I think. And I will add rust here. And then for good measure, because we have like a line, maybe a little bit more here. And then on this part of the flower. It doesn't look pretty, but again, the water is going to make it flow and look much more natural. And remember, we're going to cool it down with white as well. So that is going to change it. And you can introduce a bit of that color to the background as well. And after that step, you will dry it and see if you want to add some more colors in other spots, because you can regulate how intense the color is going to be. See, this is like the first sketch of the colors. I will show you closer. So you can see this red goes like almost like a line. Let's dry and see.
Anna, the part that looks more yellow, is that the ochre?
Yeah, the part that looks like gold, it is the ochre. Yeah, okay. Exactly. Let's dry and see the results so we can add more paint to make it more saturated.
It really is amazing how different it looks after you dry it.
Yeah, because you know, when it's wet, it seems to be so glossy.
Yeah.
But once you dry it, it gets to the right color.
Yeah.
Glossy is always different.
Oriana said she loves to use the ochre.
Yeah, ochre it's very useful color. It is something that is used also for making the skin tones, because this is the golden brown color that would create a lot of popular skin tones, and it is used for making different shades of from yellowish to brownish to pale. So it depends what you are mixing that with, you get different shades of skin tone, which is really, really cool. But what I like, it is really vintagey color as well. On the same time, very different to burnt sienna. So you can get different results. Let's dry. Let's have a look. Right, pretty. So what I would do now, because I have this ochre here and I would like to make it a little bit more saturated, so I will repeat my painting, and in some other parts I will repeat more of the burnt sienna, so the other brown, so I will have more of the brown variation here, and after that I will decide if I want to add more rusty or not. Remember, we're going to highlight that with the white, right? So we are going to remove part of these colors, and it's going to be, of course, up to you how far you want to go with white, but it's going to show the texture of the embellishments, so you're not going to lose anything. So after first painting, now you can play to master the color palette by adding more or less of the colors of your choice. So I'm starting with more of the burnt sienna, so this tea brown color, because I would like to see it a little bit more here. For example, on the top of these embellishments, right? And maybe a little bit more here. So it's just more interesting. It's not like one flat color. And then a little bit more of the ochre. Yeah, the same story. I didn't really put enough. Let's put some here.
How many?
Yeah. How many? I'm adding the water to let them mix a little bit. Making funny noises. I can add a little bit more of the rusty here.
Sorry about that. My internet died or something, but how many fluid acrylic colors are there?
Close to 20.
What?
20, I think.
Oh my God. I didn't realize there were so many. How many did it start with? A lot less, right?
14.
Yeah.
We
okay.
started with 14 and then we added 6. So that's 20.
Okay, well.
So the colors are, all the primary colors. So you will have yellow, 2 shades of green, 2 shades of blue, pink, red, orange, brown, 2 shades of brown, black, white, 2 shades of purple. And then on the top of that, we added the new release, and that was the ochre, Prussian blue, carmine. Sorry, crimson, carmine, lime green, nude, which is really lovely. Again, very like L'Energie color. Absolutely love it. And then coral. And I'm trying to find the coral bottle. Where is the coral? Oh, here. And the coral. So these were the new release colors. And they are like add-ons to the first line, and they really fill the gaps in between the colors I felt they were missing. Okay.
When did your fluid acrylics come out, Anna?
When they came out,
Originally.
I'm thinking this is 2021, right? So yes. I think 2019, the first release, and then 2020, the extra 6 colors.
Gorgeous.
That's what. Thank you. I'm not so sure because I work on the things in advance, and then things just get stuck to each other in my brain, and this is sometimes confusing which time exactly. Okay, so this is my base color for the cover. Now I will do the same step on the back, of course simplified version, to have a little bit of this matching composition on the other side as well. So I'm going to start with the brown, and then I'm going to add a little bit of rusty, so it's going to be matching each other perfectly. So this is the moment when you can play, get familiar with the paints and let them flow. I'm starting again with burnt sienna to make this darker brown, and then I'm adding the ochre. How do you pronounce it? Ochre? Ochre.
I just need to know how many of you guys have all 20 colors. I'm serious, I'm still loving these things. I know that people do. I'm thinking Oriana, Regina,
besides Danny and Perrin.
Becky.
Well, Danny and Perrin for sure. Becky. Who has all 20? You don't get a prize. You just get us to go like, oh, that's so awesome.
Well, I do, but I don't think doesn't count.
Yeah, sorry, Anna, just because you invented them, okay?
Damn it. I was hoping for some kind of
You
prize.
can't win the prize. I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay.
No.
Becky has all 20. Carrie Ann has 15. Michelle has 10. Oriana only has 13.
Wow.
Hello, Oriana. You're a little behind on your shopping for Anna supplies. I'm sure she wishes she had all 20. I know I do.
I'm no. Like,
It's,
you don't always need all of them. This is the thing. Like if you know what your favorite colors are, you
Yeah.
don't have to have all of them, because
that's true.
for example, you may not be interested in having 2 shades of purple if you don't use purple that much, right? Because I kind of get it. Like the same, if you barely use green, why would you buy 2 shades of green? This is what I think. So really one is enough. So it's good to know your preferences, and it's good to know what is making you happy. And I think there are staple colors you have to have. It's good to have black, brown, rusty, some kind of blue, some kind of green, some kind of purple, some kind of red, so you will have variations, and then you can go really far with that. However, I know some people just love particular shade and they're going to just use tons of that, and I'm guilty myself. Like I keep using burnt sienna and ink black because it is perfect vintage background color. And now I fell in love with ochre as well, so I use it a lot, and it does look beautiful in combination with the pinks. I will show you something. Sorry, I probably have this project here. It was a class I was teaching, and it's on the light surface, and this is combination of ochre and crimson, so 2 new colors. Ochre was the golden brown color you can see.
I love that so much.
And then the crimson is this one, right? And they were blending with each other. Of course, there's white as well, but
oh my God, it totally reminds me. It totally reminds me of Harry Potter.
So that is, you can see that was similar technique, but all done in different colors. So you can see how you can do it with white, and it's also going to work pretty well. But just to show you that it is maybe not obvious combination, because you think like, why should I put brown with pink? But this is not really brown, it's more like gold brown. And this pink is a little bit like fuchsia dirty. So they really work together beautifully. And then with the touches of gold, just saying, options. Okay, so let me dry, and then we will do the highlights with the white wax and see if we need to add anything else. And we're getting close to the final stages of the work. Yes, I can put that up again. Do you want the white one or the black one, Danny and Perrin? Please let me know. I just bring the right one. This one or the white one? Yeah, moment.
I absolutely love those colors, Anna. They just go so perfectly together.
Yeah, surprisingly, but when you look at the bottles, you don't think like that, but then they do. And when they blend, they make like this nice reddish, almost like raspberry color.
Right.
Look, this one here, really nice raspberry tone. Yeah, show you the back of it as well. Thank you. And you know, this is simple color palette, and I was teaching 3 hours long class, so I had to fit it in 3 hours. So I didn't do too many steps here. Some of the things we do today with you, and we are based on similar color choices and product choices, but in the white surface, so the effect is completely different. That was a class I was teaching for Prima distributor, and it was done for the shops who were attending that online event, and they liked it, I'm glad to say. Okay, let's cool it down. I'm happy you like it. It's really, really rewarding to play with the paints and, you know, try to use watercolor effects and work with the textures, because the more textures you have, the more interesting results you can get. Now I'm checking with my fingers if this is completely dry. You know, these paints are glossy, so in the spots when I apply them thicker, they may be shiny after drying. So it's hard to say, is it dry or not? So that's why I'm touching and checking. And if it's dry, that means I can go to the next step, which is going to be the highlights. Yeah, that was the Notions event. Yes, exactly. I was teaching that in, I think, January. There's another one I'm teaching in May. And of course, different project, different ideas. I think you can still register if you want to. I'm one of the 5 or 6 teachers. I'm not sure how many total, but my class is usually 3 hours. So you will have enough time to build that project.
Did they just, did you guys put up a website for that? Jamie, if you can find one, maybe you can put it up for everyone.
Well, that is probably only for retailers. So it is going to be closed if you're not registered as a retailer.
Maybe we can sneak in somehow.
That's a good plan.
Do you still want me to find the site? Because it is for retailers.
Is it only retailers?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Well, then you guys just have to become really good friends with Danny and Perrin. Okay, Devin, hold on, baby.
It's by invite usually. I don't, I'm not sure. You have to check with them, because I know there are still some spots open in the May event. So you can check with them. You know, you can always ask. You know, you can say that, oh, you heard from me and you are Notion's customer, probably. If not, you can get, you know, account. And then, but I know there are some requirements, like you have to probably pay something for the, you know, like entrance fee, and then you get that back in the discount when it comes to the placing order. It's more complicated than that, and I'm not good at business side of it, so I'm only going and making happy stuff, you know, and all the business thinking is on the side of the sales reps. But it doesn't hurt asking. You know, you can always just say, hey, I heard that, and you know, we are a retailer and we carry Finn's products and we would love to learn. Is there a chance? The worst case, they will say, sorry, it's all taken, right? So it's it is really the worst case that may happen. And, you know, there's nothing to lose, in my opinion. Now,
Miriam, what is a DT member?
DT member is design team member.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. So somebody who takes, you know, who's, yeah, of course, I'm looking in the wrong place. Now, the highlights. And there's no surprise. We are going to use the same wax we used yesterday. So the white pearl, we're not using any graphite dough because it's dark anyway, so we don't have to. So you can see we are mostly going to touch the tops of the embellishments to make them stand out a little better. It's going to soften our color palette as well. Sorry. But if you want, you can also highlight a little bit of the background if it feels too dark, for example. But I would start first with the embellishments. So I have a little bit of the leftover here from yesterday. I'll put my white pearl wax in the same place. Right? I have too much on my hand again. So I will start rubbing. And this way I can add a bit of extra soften and delicate touch to it as well. A bit of wax goes a very, very long way. So don't be surprised that you don't need a lot. This is how quickly you transform your project. And wax is very user-friendly. People usually love it because you can kind of, you know, use your instinct to understand how to apply it. People like using fingers for application. They like playing with it. So most of the times it is very popular. I will try to touch the tops of the petals as well. This way, the bottom part of the project is still very brown and red, and then the tops are getting lighter. More soft, a little bit like frost on the top of the embellishments. And of course, if you want to, you can add a little bit of the wax on the sides as well. Like people like to do the highlights here or in the corners. This is all personal choice. So, so pretty. We have just two small things to do now after wax. Remember, it's addictive, so stop yourself before you're going to wax everything white. Try to keep some of the colors visible. Don't go too far. But if you do, don't worry, we can still add a little bit of the touches to it. This is where I'm going to stop. In the meantime, when the wax is drying, I'm going to make my pebble for the focal point, right here. So here I use some really cool paper with some vintage drawings, looks like part of the machine. Here today I got like old graphic 45 paper with different sizes of butterflies, and I will find a butterfly that will fit into my pebble. And oh, number 44 seems to be fitting perfectly. So I'm going to maybe take this one since it's close to the edge This one would also fit, or this one almost, yeah. But I think 44 with the stripes, it's going to be perfect to make my decorated pebble. I bought that paper only because of the butterflies, because I really needed more of the butterflies. So to create that effect, we need some transparent adhesives. Some people like to use glossy accents. Some people like to use Mod Podge. I usually use soft gel. I used a little bit of the soft gel yesterday. We can also use it today. This is completely transparent gel medium. And I will take a bit of that gel medium and I will apply it on the paper. Of course, I put too much. Yeah. And then I'm going to stick the pebble on the top. But to make it easier for myself, I will put it on the sponge so I can press it really nicely.
Anna, does the 3D gloss gel work? Oriana's asking.
Yes, it does. Just make sure you will spread it nicely with the brush. So there will be no bubbles. Like, we don't want air bubbles. That's why I'm using the sponge, and that's why I was really spreading that with the brush. So, you know, air bubbles are going to be visible. So that's kind of annoying. But if you press it down nicely, it's going to be no problem at all. I probably wouldn't use heavy body gel though, because it is so thick, so it's hard to spread it. But I'm just using my fingers to press it on the other side. What is great about big pebbles, they really work like magnifying glasses. So whatever is under, it does look a little bit distorted and a little bit bigger. And then you can cut off the excess and dry it with the heat gun on the other side. So this is like super simple technique to make your own focal points for your projects. If you need something that is going to match, you can use some printed paper or an image, or even, you know, paper from the magazine, and you can create your own cool looking embellishment. Super simple and fun. You can also use glitter. You make your glitter pebble. And here we go. I think this one matches perfectly. Look at the colors. Perfect, perfect. Do you know the name of that paper? Oh, you know how old it is? It's from, I don't know, Old Curiosity Shop collection. Butterfly specifics. But honestly, this is old as the mountains. I bought it probably 10 years ago, or maybe 8. So please.
Graphic 45 does do revivals of their past lines, so you can
So there's a chance.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly bought this paper on, you know, for that page. I found it in the shop, and I found, okay, this is perfect page for collage. So I get all these butterflies, and as you can see, I just gradually cut some of these guys out. This is the best I can do for you here. I just like the, you know, because you have different sizes, different colors. On the other side, it's like this. No problem.
That is a great sheet of butterflies.
Yeah, exactly.
Very handy.
Very handy. So now, before we're going to finish and glue it down, I can add some extra touches like splatters or tiny bits of color. So I will bring back my colors on the palette, my browns and my red. And although you are not supposed to paint on the top of wax, you can do a little bit of the touches with these paints and they're going to stay nicely. So if it's just for this decorative purposes, it is still okay. So it may be a little bit too much of the white after waxing. So now we can bring back a bit of that brownish or rusty color in. Where is ochre color? Because I put it in a good place and now it disappeared here. Here it is. You just finished with white gesso dry brush. Can you tell me next steps? Yes, we are using liquid acrylic paints and we are using them probably in 2 layers. First, one color and water to make it flow like watercolor paint. Then we are going to dry it and then we add the contrasting colors. So for me, I started with brown, 2 colors because I have burnt sienna and ochre. And after drying, I added the crimson. And then after drying everything, I added a little bit of extra if it was missing. After this, you're going to dry it and rub white pearl wax on the top. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of that ochre back again, a little bit. Not too much, just to bring it back a little bit if I covered too much in some places. And the burnt sienna. Sometimes it's hard to be precise.
So can you tell us, because you did use wax on a lot of it, are you trying to stay away from the areas that you put the wax on, or are you trying
No,
Okay.
no, I'm just trying to dab it wherever I feel the paint is missing. The truth is the wax is going to resist, so not much is going to stay on, but it's going to create a little bit of like a dirty effect on it. It's going to be like, you know, bringing back tiny bit of the color. Look what happened here, the same thing. I just dirtied that up a little bit in some parts because I felt it was too white. I just tried to, you know, help this color to spread a little bit better. And officially, you should not do that because, you know, the paints are not going to stay nicely on the surfaces like wax. But if it's just like a delicate touch, no problem. It just has to be small amount. You never will repaint the whole surface because it's always going to make these kind of puddles. If it's final touches, it's okay because it adds some interest to it. But if you try to paint the whole surface, you will be so frustrated and you will see why this is finishing product and you should not really try to paint on it.
So it's kind of adding like a tint back into it.
Exactly. I've also some kind of splattery finish. I'm going to do some splatters now as well. So basically this is breaking the mixed media rules, but rules are meant to be broken from time to time, so.
Especially in mixed media.
Yeah. You will see the difference between completely white and now with these touches. Okay, it was going to dry. I will find some modeling paste to stick my butterfly on the composition. And in the meantime, this is drying. Yeah. And it's on. And for the last thing, I will just splatter some maybe rusty paint. So the carmine with water. So it's going to come off the brush easier to make some, you know, like rusty splatters. We're going to add a little bit of the finishing touch here and there. And that's it. Basically, this is the last step of the work. You don't have to do anything else. I will probably just clean the butterfly a little bit because now it's very, or not really. It does look cool with the splatters. There's some questions how it's possible I'm not getting dirty when I make splatters. I'm sorry to say, but I do get dirty. So now I feel I have it on my face. So you will have to forgive me the imperfections. Drying and done. Close up, look. Oops, sorry. My heat gun moved my wire. So this is the other color palette with the brown and rusty only. And we can compare it to midnight blue. Different, like same, but different, as they say. Whatever you prefer. And of course, you can play with different color effects. You can introduce more colors into this kind of project, but we were limited to 3 colors we could put in the kit. So this is how we came with the color compositions. Yes, if you are going to use very strong glue, like gel medium or modeling paste, yes, you can stick it. I am not sure with the thin liquid glues, they may not want to stay. Soft gel is staying, but it's extremely sticky. So yes, of course, this is what I did here. In fact, I stuck that on the top of the wax and it is still okay. Now, where's my book? So I can put it all together. This is the inside. Just put it back into the right position. Yeah. First, the back cover. Then the front cover. Slowly, slowly. No, I should do the opposite. I'm not good at putting these things together.
I never could figure out that bind it all machine.
Ugh.
And
Wait.
so
Wait.
watching you do this, I'm like, if you can get it back on, I'm impressed.
Yeah, the problem is the page is already in, so I have to figure out how to. This is the last page, right? So what we want to get here is.
Turn
You
it
have to
around.
flip it around, Anna.
There you
Wait,
go.
wait. Don't help me. It's not going to make it easier. Why? Yeah, but again, it is going to make the wire at the front, which I don't want. I know why. This is upside down. Okay. This is not the part of the class. Just ignore it.
We're just gonna watch Anna struggle for a few minutes.
Yeah, kind of. Now that is going to work, because once I put it in the right place, it is not upside down anymore and everything works. Ha!
Yay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's instruction with this machine, how you should do it, but I forgot like years ago. So I always do it by like, whatever.
Perfect.
Here we go. Perfect. And we have our elastic and two versions of the same class. Have you got any questions for these steps? Really, the last touches are up to you. Some people prefer to wrap more of the white, and then they want to see, more like the colder color palette, more whiter tones. Some people prefer to have more of the color, and then they do more of this paint dabbing on the top of the wax to get these like puddles of color. Some people like to have a lot of splatters. Some people don't do it at all. So you have to feel, what is your thing. But in general, remember, painting over wax is not going to be very successful. So you can only do it for like, special effects like this, some splatters, some kind of puddles, which are not going to be fully covering. It's more for like these, dots, spots, and so on and so on. Yep. I quite like the brown, to be honest. Of course, the blue is the blue, but I'm pleased with the brown version as well.
I think they're both really awesome.
I think it's really nice.
It's your technique and your style. It's unique in so many ways. And then it also reminds me of so many different things. Like I want to go get in a spaceship. And almost right here. Like it kind of reminds me of like a Isaac Asimov book.
Yeah. The foundation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Carrie Ann is raising her hand. I think she would love to show us her project.
Okay, so let me switch to other view so I can look into
The eyes of your admirer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to look pretty.
Jamie is bringing Carrie Ann on. There you go.
I'm just trying to see if I have a lot of that red face. Red dots on my face, but luckily not too much.
Good. Can you add Carrie Ann's spotlight, Jamie? Just add her spotlight. There you go. Oh.
I made it green this time.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a cool box. Yeah, the composition with the green and gold looks very good.
Thank you.
I would be tempted to do some of the gold splatters if you have gold paint on hand.
Yeah. I would try that.
I'm thinking this black is a little bit empty, like I would splatter. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And also this one is the one I teached in the local store this week.
So pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, they got cool rusty color palette.
Yeah.
And then there's some, they started with the stencil, I think.
Yeah.
And then you've got the textures. That looks cool.
And this is the back.
Oh, very nice. I love the drips.
Thank you.
I generally love any kind of splatters and drips because they make the look so natural and dynamic. And I just, congratulations, very, very cool project.
Thank you.
Carrie Ann, are those all molds, the flowers? No,
Yeah.
the other one.
And they are all molds and it's all glue.
Oh, hot glue.
Yeah.
Yeah, hot glue is a great solution when you have to make some elements quickly.
Yeah.
Love it.
You just need
Beautiful.
to cool down when you use the heat tool, because they will get sticky, but they don't lose the shape. So if you don't fix them, it will be okay.
Yeah, I once forgot I have something with the hot glue on the composition, and then I really scorched it with the heat gun, and then it bubbled a little bit, but that was it.
Yeah.
You need to remember that it's glue, but it's really fine.
I learned my lesson. Now I'm trying to be more careful, but yeah, it was like, oh, what happened here? Like, I guess I forgot.
Yeah.
Beautiful project.
Thank you for another great class. I really enjoyed it.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
14.
I think Oriana's coming in.
Just a moment. Kotsur!
21, 22.
Sorry.
21.
All right, there she is.
Hello. Well,
Hi.
hi again. First, this is what Anna's, as I showed you yesterday, the one I still treasuring.
You have one of the precious butterflies from this sheet of paper now.
Yes.
It was here before.
This is the one I made last class, but it has so many bubbles. I started this one a couple of hours ago, and I say it's very humid and it's still not done. So I went the whole different direction, and this is the one I did.
Ooh, I love this mechanism you have there next to the flower, this big one. Yeah. That one. That's very cool.
You muted yourself. Oriana, you muted yourself.
Sorry, because my screen is touched, so I maybe touched something.
No worries.
Yeah, this is for another brand I'm not gonna mention. And I add a little bit of glitter. So instead of adding the clear thing, because it's still here trying to dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, humidity is
dry. But
not your friend.
Yeah, today is a lot of humidity, and I still haven't done the back, but the back.
Yeah, but that color palette, it does look beautiful. It's really, really cool. And I love the combination of the elements.
I used white gold instead of white pearl because it worked better. And a little bit of true yellow in the corners to make it a little bit lighter.
Yeah, so. Very, very cool idea. Perfect. Such a beautiful cover. I'm
Thank you.
sure it's going to be amazing when finished because it's gorgeous already.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you, Ariana.
Oh, you have a cool
Look
photo.
at that sexy
Yeah.
girl. All right.
I wish I had one like that.
A little splatter on your shoulder. Okay. Does anyone else want to come in and show us what they've been working on? Maybe Danny and Perrin. I know they've always got something amazing happening. Lanine's in progress. Okay.
I'm just holding mine so you can see the, just in case in the meantime,
Yeah.
inspiration.
Jamie, did you make something?
Oh, yeah, it was
Because I
for
have
my photo prepared.
thing in
Yeah,
my-
that's a
Got
cool
a
photo.
spatula in your mouth.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Oh, you need some suggestions? Perfect. We're here to help.
So this was mine last time. I finally finished it.
Uh-huh. Okay, greens, turquoise, and purple.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So I did a cigar box.
Ooh.
So I did different things. And then so I started like 3/4 of the way through. I was going to do something on the inside. So that's where I am.
That's more ambitious, you know. We are just doing one cover and you are doing all the possible surfaces.
Well, this was the first class. So, you know, I just figured might as well do something while I'm sitting here.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Right? Let's see. I just finished dry brushing. I'm thinking of using this technique on a small cabinet doors. Ooh, that sounds fun, Natalie.
cool. Yeah, that's very good idea.
Here we go. Lanine is going to come on in. Okay, let's put you on.
I'm just keeping you entertained in the meantime.
Are you doing your daily exercises?
The dancing book. I like it.
Hey, Lanine, you can turn on your camera now.
I lost everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
That sounds dramatic.
I know, that's huge.
Okay, I see it there, but where is
Camera.
there? It tells me to sign in again. What?
No.
And then
Wrong
it
camera.
tells me to learn more.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
we are in class.
so
What's it trying to teach you?
I
What
don't
website are you
know.
on?
I don't know. Let me see if I could go back.
Okay.
No, there's that. I need to get out of this screen. It's just a learn more screen. And then there's a guy coming on in a video. I don't want him. How did I get here?
That is the question, isn't it? That is the question.
You can hear me, but you can't see me.
Right.
It's in the
Drop
bottom.
his
Here, you know what? Jamie, can you
Okay.
make her
There.
put you back? Oh, there you go.
Okay,
Alright.
can you see it?
Hold on, Jamie's spotlighting you. Hold on.
yay.
There we go.
So I'm not finished,
Yay.
but I have a lot. I still have the second color to do. I have wax on it, but I'm a frame, and then there's a frame on the frame there. I don't know if you can see it all.
Looks
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. And you know, honestly, there's the frame that really makes it look so cool in the middle. I think it's great composition, and you used so much more comparing to what I did today.
Well, I didn't have anything because I used it all last time. So I had to go through my stash and pull out stuff.
But you know, the
Go ahead.
result is great, right? Technique is the technique. You got it really cool elements, and I think the composition works perfectly. Well done.
Thank you. I'm happy with it. I still have to put the second color on it though.
Mm-hmm. You know, now you can think what you want to add. Look in the different light as well. Look in the daylight. Look in the,
Yeah.
you know, the artificial light, and think what is going to be the best for you. And you know the steps, you know what you can do, you know what you have on hand, so you can try to figure out what is the best.
Well, I want to this is my one from before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I want to put the red in there too on this one. I liked that on this.
Yeah, blue and blue greens with reds, they really look nice because then you have this really stripe of color.
And
so
then
that is.
Where is it? Oh, my little bauble that I'm going to put on here is of I don't know if you can see it. It's a little castle.
Yeah, I can see the roof.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like the castles we have somewhere in continental Europe.
It's going to go in there someplace.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. It looks like great, really great result.
Yeah. Oh my God. So cool. So
yeah, exactly.
Lenine, where's Shelly?
I don't know where she's at right now. She's been pretty busy. They've been doing a lot, and both of us work full time still. So
All right.
it's been a challenge even doing all the classes.
Oh.
It's so fun, right?
Yes, I have 3 that I haven't even done yet at all.
Okay.
So I have those waiting too. But this one was a redo for me and I loved it.
Of course. Anna's
I'm so
class.
happy you enjoyed.
Yeah, I wanted to be here yesterday, but I was sick, so I couldn't be here. But thank you so much.
Yeah.
My
Thank
big
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Signing
you.
off.
Bye, Lenine. Oh,
Bye.
I think Debbie was going to come in. Where'd you go? Oh, sorry, Naomi ran. Jamie got you. All right, Debbie. Anna, your camera is off.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure you know that. All right,
I
Debbie's
noticed.
here.
Okay, Anna, your camera is off too. There you go.
Hi. I loved the class yesterday. You know, I had started it in February, but I'm really happy how it turned out.
Yay.
You know, it just took me a while to get into the groove of it. So I have a question. I have not painted this yet. So I was thinking about doing the teal, like kind of like yesterday, or I'm not really sure whether or not I should do something different. So I kind of want to lighten it up.
What's your favorite color? What do you like to use?
I like green a lot.
So teal is a
green
great
and-
start.
Yeah.
Have you
And
ever
then-
tried combination of the teal with purple?
No, but that would be pretty. Okay.
If you have some
That's
purple,
great. So
you can do these 2 colors, and then once you will do the highlight with the wax, for example, or the white acrylic paint or something similar, you can always add some other contrast as well, including the carmine, because it's going to be always this rusty kick. So you can put teal, you can put purple, and you can put carmine together. They're going to work perfectly. And then if you want to, you can adjust, and then, you know, in the last stages, add a little bit more of purple, a little bit more of teal. This is really good combination. And if you like these greens, that may be something you will like because it's colder color palette, but then this carmine will give you a bit of the warmer tone as well. Great contrast.
Okay.
Try it.
And then this part, do I just wax this?
It all depends. If you, I will show you on this one because this one is a little bit lighter to see. It is, in fact, whitewashed with gesso first, right? And then I took a bit of this blue paint, in this case, and I painted over it. So in fact, it looks like it is painted blue. So you can do the same thing. If you have quite a lot of gesso on the background, you can take the color from the embellishment and pull it also on the outside. So there's like soft transition between embellishment and the background and the black. So this is, you know, not like colorful embellishments sitting on the top of the black. So there's like this cover. To get the best results, you will need to have a bit of that white around the embellishments as well. So if you said you feel you would like to do a little bit lighter, this is not a bad idea because you have quite delicate gesso, so you can do more, and you can brush a little bit of that white on the surface around the composition as well.
Okay.
You were quite light-handed so far.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I totally just absolutely enjoyed your classes and your.
I'm so happy that you enjoyed, because happy students make me happy. This is the best part, when people get excited and inspired to do things. It's the best reward. You can get like happy faces, like.
Yes. So you're a fabulous teacher. Keep doing what you're doing, and of course, Elena and your group in fabulous job. So.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for the suggestion.
Love it.
We're waiting for the result.
Okay, we have Danny and Perrin.
Yay!
Let's see it.
All right, there we go. Okay, well, I was ready. Danny was still got a few things to do, but
okay.
Where are we?
There we go. Oh, there we go.
I had some leftover splatters, so I thought I'd do a combination of the grungy with some of the colorful paint splatters.
That's a very cool idea. I love how you made these colorful splatters. Like one is like this big white gold drip, looks very cool.
Yeah, well, that's the ochre. And the red that we're using and the blue we're using. And of course, the trick to that is that after everything is very dark, I had to go and paint those white so the color would stand.
Yes, exactly.
And
I would be tempted.
Pardon?
I would be tempted to do something more to the cogs, because they are really like a little bit lonely. You have these really cool colors on the splatters, but the cogs, I would think they would love to get a bit of the color as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a repeat of the bronze on the door.
Oh yeah, to mimic the keyhole. No, I get that. I like that. Definitely.
Yeah, because then they will be visible, because now they're kind of blending with the background. Visible, but comparing to other elements, they don't attract that much attention. So now there's a bit of a competition between the splatters and the cogs and this keyhole that you have on the right. So I would, because I love cogs so much, I would give them more chances, and I would give them a color as well. So that was great.
I will definitely do that. And
by the way, how you feel
that you were talking about earlier, that was probably Games Workshop and Warhammer.
Yeah, I think so, because I remember I was only just looking at what they were doing, and I remember I've seen like the first ever convents that people did in Warsaw, and they were having Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and I was mesmerized with all these little thingies they had, and it was so cool. And of course, I didn't have the time, patience, money, and everything to go into that. I was more into reading books at that time, but it was kind of connected. And I've seen how they prepared the decorations, how they were doing this, the battlefield, how they were painting these little soldiers, warriors, depending what they were. It's a lot of work.
It is.
You have to really dedicate your life to it. But
I painted several teams of those.
Yeah, you have to really, and I just learned a little bit of the ideas, and now surprisingly they were so useful when I started doing my own collage and mixed media.
Exactly. So
I admire people who do that, honestly, because patience.
He's one of those people.
I paint the miniatures, so yes, it's a lot of work, and sometimes you have to get those extra magnifying glasses to see the really tiny things.
And super tiny brushes.
Yes.
And a lot of time and patience, and not shaky hands. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm still there.
None of those things that I have.
Me neither. Like I can admire somebody's work. Like some of my friends, they really made them. They were gluing together the little planes of different kinds. You take the parts and you glue it together and paint. Yeah, I love the result, but honestly, I would die if I had to do it myself. So I absolutely admire people's precision, and yeah, I just like looking at it, and I enjoy the concept that people enjoy it and they have great time, and I would just look at them for hours, but don't make me do it. I can paint maybe one bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Now, the trick is you paint about 12 at a time. So you go from one to the next.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. You use the same paint. Therefore, you repeat the. Mhm. I get it.
I'm still working on mine. I'll post pictures later, but.
How do you feel about your project? Oh, yeah, that's look really cool. You've got
It's a
the
little
flower.
dark. We're gonna lighten it up. I picked a butterfly motif that had the tiniest bits ever to fill in, so it took forever to finish. So, but I'll post it later.
I'm waiting. You know, it doesn't have to be always light or dark. You just pick what you feel. You know, this is personal choice. I show you the techniques, and then you do it darker or lighter.
We're in a dark mood right now.
Oh, you know.
It also depends on the day. Sometimes you will feel a little bit more colorful. The other time you will feel like, just, you know, leave me alone. I want to paint it black. That's it.
Yeah. So we'll
Thank you so much.
I've got wax on my hand. We'll lighten it up a bit.
Yeah, I almost got rid of the white one, but still kind of shiny.
Yeah, I'm working 3 colors.
Well, I'm waiting for the results.
Yes. Thanks for the class again.
Thank you so much for showing.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we have Michelle Gardner ready to show us her creation.
Audrey just mentioned that she got the IKEA Strala lamp and candlestick to get the altered project. That was a Facebook live show I made when I was altering IKEA fake lamp that was I just got on the sale, and apparently she was able to get that one, and she wants to make one. It's really, really fun. So I can't wait to see the result.
Me too. That sounds so awesome, Audrey. Okay, we have Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hello. So this is a garbage the first time.
Yeah. Cool.
So
yeah, very nice. Very nice.
So
I love the line of the embellishment. It really makes this nice flow of the elements. Your eyes go from one corner to the side to the other corner. So pretty.
Thank you. So this, my mom loved it so much she wanted it as a canvas. And we are really moist here, so I vary behind because nothing's drying. But that is the competition.
Wow.
It's very lovely.
And I put this here to pull the eye over here because, you know, my centerpiece will go here and this is going to go here. So I need it for the composition to flow a little bit more.
Yeah, but they are really nicely balanced, and that again, that goes in the nice flow. So everything comes together beautifully. And I'm not sure what the colors will be in the end, but
they're going to be the blue and the burnt sienna. You know, the original version.
I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. Well, you have to make people happy if they like it.
Right.
Perfect.
But so I still have a lot of work to do. I will post it when it's finished.
Yeah, I will be waiting patiently to see the final result because I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. It's already really cool. So
definitely.
You know, and I got to use your molds for your larger cogs.
Yeah, they are good for the bigger projects.
Yeah, to fill up the space using that.
Exactly, and they are really nice for layering as well. So you can use them as a base, and then you can stack other things on the top. So
right? Yeah. Especially for a canvas size, it's larger than a notebook and jar box, etc. To fill up the space.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you like it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It looks amazing, Michelle. I absolutely love those big cogs that you used. I was about to ask.
Yeah,
that looks really good. Great sizing. Oh, there's a puppy.
Yeah, somebody was asking for attention. Walking around and whining and whinging and like,
Thank you,
So
Michelle.
Elena and Dania, I already told Anna, but last night I was telling my husband how much fun I was having with all of this, and my birthday is this next week. So he bought me the Patreon for my birthday.
You are having great time then, because it's a lot of stuff going on. We welcome you into the family. You're
Thank
part
you.
of the art tribe. Thank you so much. I hope you will enjoy.
Happy early birthday, dear. You have a great one.
Exactly.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bye.
Are you going to be doing any more classes, Michelle?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you coming into any more classes?
Yeah, I'm going to take a couple more. I'm going to do Jen's because I've never finished making the jewelry.
Okay, good.
And I don't know. I'll pop in and out. I'll say hi.
All right. See you soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Was there anyone else that wanted to come in? I have to show you something, Anna. I'm going to start my camera here. And okay. Do you remember this?
Oh, that is a Black Beauty book from years ago.
You made this.
Yeah, it looks like my work from the second art venture.
I think so.
Ha! Still looking okay.
Yeah, it still looks good, right? That's because I have, you know how much journaling I've done? 0. It's still in its original state.
It's okay.
I'm going to. I have thoughts, but it's so cool. This was the second art venture when we had, I think it was 3 classes a day, right?
And yeah, 3 classes a day. And I think people were changing rooms because it was not in the one big room. Yeah. We were divided between smaller classrooms and people had to change, or we had to go. I don't remember. It was complicated setup.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think that one, you guys had your own rooms and the people went. I don't know. It's been so many iterations of Art Venture, and we just keep trying to make it better and better and improve it. And, you know, now with this online version, we had all sorts of things to learn, but we've learned so much and it's been so much fun. So I really hope everyone enjoyed themselves. You got special,
I hope so.
You know, the Encore was a less new people. So it just was such a cool opportunity for people to get to hang out with you, hang out with each other, you know, do our pandemic dance that we're all doing right now, and then be inspired. And we are so inspired by you, Anna. Thank you
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be with you, and it's great to be part of this event. Yeah. And I'm so happy that we are doing that again and again, and it's still happening. And it's as you said, it is changing, it is evolving, but it is you know, perfect solution for our needs at this point. And today I just noticed very good news talking about pandemic and all the things. Tomorrow they are going to lift some of the restrictions, so we are able to travel within our county. And that means my county is the biggest in the country, so I can go quite far. So I can go to the ocean, or I can go to the park or somewhere. So I will have a little bit more of freedom, and I won't be, you know, breaking any rules, and nobody will, you know, put me into trouble if I will leave my house and everything. So a bit of the happiness in my life.
A little breath, right? Yeah.
A little bit of breath. So that is going to be one of the nice things happening. Hopefully the weather will get better and we can go for a nice trip and see landscape.
Go see the ocean. Go put your feet in the water. You know, they just
no, it's freaking cold. I'm not doing it.
Touch it. Just touch it.
Yes, I can touch it.
Go pick things out of it. Go grab your rubbish to put on your book.
Yeah, we have plenty of these.
Beach rubbish. Yeah, they just lowered the age for shots to 50 in San Diego. So it was at 75, then 65, and now it's 50. So
Good.
50 or 55. Anyway, so we're making our way through these.
Exactly. And well, the sooner we are going to get all people vaccinated and all people will get safe and, you know, able to just come back to normality a little bit, it's going to be so much better.
So much better.
Just a deeper breath again.
Yeah, I can't wait. And honestly, Anna, we treasure our time with you. You seriously make Isaac Asimov, Harry Potter, Spaceland amazing. Oh, and Warhammer and little miniature soldiers and every version of Renaissance space, whatever. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I just heard from my patrons that the style that we do now with all these schools and birds and wings, it's more like Gothic, no, steampunk, steam goth. It is a steampunk Gothic, so steam goth. I had no idea that exists, but kind of makes sense, of course. Why not putting these two cool things together and make another genre? Because it makes sense, of course.
So cool. No, it's all those new molds. I mean, everybody's obviously confirmed that
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky I had I was probably in the right place at the right time, and I really needed the same things that some people needed. So that is a great pleasure.
Or Anna, you're just really talented and you can just, you know, continue.
You're far too kind. You're far too kind, and honestly, I have to underline how nice it is to be with you here. You are wonderful people, wonderful audience to work with, wonderful students, but also wonderful people to organize things, because this is not the first time, and we know each other for many years, and it's always a pleasure. This is never like, I know we are tired sometimes, and it's like, let's have it done. But all the volunteers from the charity wings, and you with the organizing, and Prima people trying to do their best to get the things done. It's huge effort, but I think it's absolutely worth it, because then we see how excited people are, and we can, you know, see the finished project, and it's rewarding. It's so cool to see people inspired and talking about it, and, like, you know, having this happy time. So thank you for doing that, because, you know, without somebody to organize it, it wouldn't happen.
Well, that's the thing. Right now, Prima is just trying to keep up with making your products, Anna, and distributing your products. They don't have time to organize events. So we're happy to step in. It's super fun. Jamie and I have, and me, Jamie, and Jamie, Sandra, and I kind of really spearheaded and made this happen. But very, very lucky that we had you. And I cannot wait for the next art. I already gave Anna a request, which we'll surprise you guys with if she decides to do it. But we're trying to come up with.
I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I will think.
Okay.
I promise.
It doesn't have to be that. I just thought that's something that I remembered that was like so cool, and I bet you could do like a new version of it. Okay, we will see. Now we're just giving away too many like teasers, and people are just going to get annoyed. Okay, so we'll see what Anna comes up with, because you know, whatever it is, it's going to be amazing. So be prepared for 2 more Anna classes in the next art venture. We really have to have 2 Anna classes. There were a couple of people that were kind of irked that we made you take both Anna classes, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to take both, but the reality
is, you know, some people don't have to like me, honestly. It's not like you have to. It's not obligatory.
Whoever those people are. But anyway, so, but the reality is, with us sending kits out like this, it just doesn't work with the cost of the mediums and wanting to make a really awesome class. Otherwise, you'd have to supply a lot of the stuff yourself in order to get the effect and the real technique.
Yeah, the problem is we don't really use a lot from each bottle, but we have to supply the bottles to have the color range. So that is making the price of the kit higher. And that means to get good value for money, it's really better to make 2 kits. And this way you're able to share the supplies and you learn more about how to use the products for different variations instead of just using them once and having the full bottle of paint or wax and then now what?
Yes.
So that's why we came with this concept of 2 classes instead. So, well,
and 99% of the people loved it. So it worked out perfectly. And you know, you just can't make everybody happy, but we are trying our best.
Well, I'm sure people appreciate that, and I really, really want to thank everybody. This is the end of my art adventure for now. I think this is for now. Yes, this is the first weekend we are doing in the Encore. So I wish you all a wonderful time with other classes, and I'm sure you will learn a lot of cool things, and other teachers are very cool and friendly and chatty and absolutely wonderful. So enjoy.
Well, we will talk to you soon, Anna. I will create a post for you guys to actually, Anna, hold up your thing again. I think I took a screenshot, but just hold it up one more time. Hold up your book one more time. Ready? Okay. Here we are. Cheese. Okay, I'll put the post up and please add your photos. We love seeing the finished products. Obviously, I'm going to put mine up from yesterday that I finished. And thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
We will be back on at 1:30 for Mark Montano's class that we'll be replaying. So I will be making it. Jamie will be kind of helping with techniques and stuff because she actually took it last time. And we're just going to have lots of chats and fun with whoever wants to join us. So we will see you guys in about an hour and 20 minutes. Thanks,
perfect. Anna. Enjoy, and have a wonderful time.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for joining. Anna. Thank you for the classes. Thank you. You're wonderful.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.